This is an introductory briefing on the changes to the future of nurse education, in particular practice placement support and assessment. What I'm going to just introduce you to for your consideration is to look at the NMC standards for pre-registration nursing and midwifery education, and to look at the changes to supporting supervision and assessing pre-registration nurses and midwives. This year, the NMC introduced new standards for nurse education for the future, including supervision and assessment in practice. Students will be required to demonstrate proficiency at point of graduation in a wide range of activities. This will require a change in the way in which they are supervised, assessed, and we will be introducing this in September 2019. So the NMC requires, as they always have, effective practice learning, good supervision of students, and a robust assessment of students to confirm their proficiency. They have set up 7 proficiency platforms. Many of these are quite a mirror of previous NMC requirements for student nurses. However, there's been more onus on promoting health and preventing ill health, and also improving safety and quality of care, as well as the other things about being able to assess, plan, implement and evaluate and coordinate complex care. They need to be able to have experience across all care settings, and they must be able to demonstrate that greater depth of knowledge and advanced skills depending on their chosen field of nursing practice or midwifery practice. The NMC are introducing new roles: the role of the practice supervisor, the practice assessor and the academic assessor. Students' placement, regardless of how many placements a year they have, they will require a named practice assessor to undertake the planning, formative and summative assessments of that student. The role is going to be different, as it will be long arm monitoring and decision making about the student, gathering information from a variety of people who they work with, practice supervisors from different professions as well as nurses or midwives throughout their placement. Students will also have a named academic assessor who will monitor the progress at each stage and can be involved as necessary. And at the end of the academic year, the placement practice assessor and the academic assessor will make a joint decision on progression. Practice assessors will be expected to look at previous placements and to liaise with practice assessors in previous assessment placements in order to inform their decision. So let's have a look at these roles in a bit more detail. There needs to be some good coordination, continuity of support in the supervision of students, and the NMC has identified that supervisors, that is any registered healthcare professional or anyone with occupational competence for a particular skill they might be learning, will be able to work with them in their scope of practice to enable them to meet the proficiencies. This is day-to-day supervision and providing feedback on their progress and achievement of their proficiencies and skills to their practice assessor through verbal feedback or statements that they may write within the student's assessment documents. They need to be current knowledge and experience, and they also need to be prepared to be supervisors, because they are role modelling and they are developing that future practitioner in their day-to-day practice. Practice supervisors will contribute to the assessment's record of achievement, as I've already said, periodically making notations as required. They would have sufficient opportunity to engage with the practice assessor and academic assessor to share relevant observations on conduct and proficiency and achievements for the students they are supervising. And through the 3 stages, planning, formative and summative, this can be realised. So the practice assessor, the NMC is quite clear they want to have the practice assessor a step back from day-to-day operational working with students. They need to have preparation and they need to be experienced in their field. As I've already said, at the end of the year, they provide decisions about progression with the academic assessor. So all students will then have an named academic assessor who will be monitoring the progress and making that decision at the end of the academic year with the practice assessor. So practice assessors need to be up to date. Our local agreements in Somerset, Devon and Cornwall is for them to have annual updates. It's important that the NMC identify that practice assessor cannot simultaneously be a practice supervisor and assessor for the same student, but a practice assessor can be a supervisor for other students. It's their responsibility to undertake the assessment process and take sufficient opportunities to observe the student across the environments to inform their decision making. Practice assessors' assessment decisions are informed by feedback from the supervisors, the students' records, direct observation, student self-reflection, and any other resources that the students present to them as evidence. And ultimately work in partnership with the academic assessor at the end of the academic year to make decisions about progression. Nursing students are going to be prepared to be practice supervisors as part of their undergraduate programme. However, until they come out in 3 years hence, supervisor preparation will take place and be embedded into preceptorship programmes. Supervisor preparation will also take place within your local place of work, and your employers are currently in the process of identifying people suitable for preparation to become practice assessors and practice supervisors. Midwifery will be adopting the standards in 2020. So in addition to this, there's going to be a new assessment tool. It's going to be called the Practice Assessment Document. All the universities in the South will be using the same document, which means it can be transferable, and it will provide comprehensive evidence for registration at the end of 3 years. Currently the plan is in consultation and more information will come forward in October 2018, and once we start preparing practice supervisors and practice assessors, we will be helping people to understand the requirements of the practice assessment document. So further briefings and preparations will be run throughout this year and next year by either Plymouth University or Exeter University, and as we have more information and understanding, then that will be shared.